The community's beloved A-10 Warthog, a titan of the skies, has at last received a substantial enhancement, securing its place in the U.S. Air Force arsenal for another decade. But what modernizations have been implemented, and what role will this legendary aircraft play in the future? Stay with us to uncover these details. In 1966, a USAF study scrutinizing the existing close air support CAS capabilities revealed that the Lockheed A-56 Cheyenne helicopter, despite its selection for the Army's Advanced Aerial Fire Support System competition, fell short in fulfilling all the escort and fire suppression tasks mandated by the Department of Defense. Consequently, the Air Force resolved to procure a straightforward, effective, cost-efficient, and durable CAS aircraft, at least as capable as the A-1. The result was the A-10 Thunderbolt II, affectionately known as the Warthog, engineered by Fairchild Republic. The A-10 featured expansive straight wings, optimized for low-speed maneuverability and operations at very low altitudes, ensuring the Warthog remained a stable and highly precise weapon delivery platform. The aircraft was specifically designed for operations from relatively short and austere runways, allowing it to utilize forward airstrips near the front lines. With robust landing gear and low-pressure tires, the Warthog was also crafted for ease of service and sustainment from bases with minimal facilities close to the combat zone. Yet the Warthog's notoriety as a Cold War tank destroyer was built around its extraordinary 30mm GAU-8 Avenger Gatling gun, famously likened in size to a Volkswagen Beetle, capable of discharging 3,900 rounds per minute. The ammunition, composed of ultra-heavy, ultra-dense depleted uranium, was designed to obliterate a variety of ground targets, including tanks. The A-10 carried a formidable 1,174 rounds of this ammunition for its monstrous cannon. Complementing the A-10's agility, versatility, and lethality was an unparalleled degree of survivability. Many components of the aircraft were interchangeable between the left and right sides, including the engines, main landing gear, and vertical stabilizers, facilitating swift battle damage repairs. Other systems were armored or redundant, and the aircraft's self-sealing fuel tanks were safeguarded by both internal and external foam. The cockpit, fortified with titanium armor, also protected parts of the flight control system, resulting in an aircraft that could withstand direct hits from armor-piercing and high-explosive projectiles up to 23mm, absorb battle damage, and still return to base for repairs. Annual systems backed up the redundant hydraulic flight control systems, allowing the pilot to continue flying even in the absence of hydraulic power. The A-10 proved its mettle during the 1991 Operation Desert Storm, where its anti-tank capabilities, extended loiter time, and broad combat radius were particularly invaluable. It demonstrated a 95.7% mission-capable rate during the Gulf War, flying 8,100 sorties and deploying 90% of the AGM-65 Maverick missiles used in the conflict. However, many of the A-10's unique capabilities became less critical in the post-Cold War environment, where close air support transitioned to the precision delivery of munitions from medium altitudes, an arena where the Warthog had little to offer compared to other platforms. Despite its long range, extensive airborne time, and the ability to carry up to 16,000 pounds of ordnance, the A-10's formidable 30mm cannon saw little use. For years, there have been debates about retiring the A-10 from service. However, the U.S. Air Force has decided to upgrade and maintain the Warthog close air support jet in service until the 2030s. The jet, originally designed to dominate Cold War battlefields, will continue flying over 40 years after the Soviet Union's collapse. That's the good news. The bad news? Central to the upgrades for the A-10 is the necessity to remain survivable in contested environments. This entails Warthog pilots evading threats by employing standoff weapons from greater distances, combined with updated tactics. The Warthog's operations will evolve to include the capability to address some threats with precision weapons from extended ranges. Once these threats are neutralized, the A-10s can theoretically return to their traditional missions. To put it plainly, the A-10 is being retained under the condition that it is no longer expected to operate over heavily defended battlefields. The Air Force is convinced that the aircraft, designed to unleash missiles, rockets, bombs, and its GAU 30mm Gatling gun, is no longer capable of flying over advanced air defenses, such as Russia's Tor and Panzer S-1 short-range air defense systems. Instead, the Warthog is now relegated to supporting U.S. troops over lightly contested or defended airspace, think Afghanistan or Somalia, not Russia or China. One of the most significant upgrades is the integration of the GBU-39 small-diameter bomb. The GBU-39 is a 250-pound high-explosive bomb equipped with wings and a guidance system, allowing it to engage individual ground targets at ranges up to 40 miles. The Warthog can carry up to 18 GBU-39s, theoretically enabling it to engage up to 18 different targets. Upgraded A-10s, coupled with unmanned aerial vehicles UAVs, could collaborate to suppress enemy air defenses and bomb tank columns. UAVs could be used to locate enemy air defenses before being shot down, passing on the coordinates of those weapons to A-10 crews. The Warthogs, in turn, could then unleash GBU-39s against those weapons before closing in to engage enemy tanks and armored vehicles with AGM-65 Maverick missiles, high-explosive bombs, and of course, the GAA Avenger 30mm 7-barreled Gatling gun. Additionally, a wing replacement program is underway to enable 218 A-10CS to remain operational until the 2030s. This program builds on Boeing's so-called Hog-Up program, initiated in 1999, which aimed to extend the aircraft's life to 16,000 flying hours. The base contract was for 117 wings, with options for 125 more. Of these, 173 wings are now on order, with options remaining for 69 additional units. Furthermore, the Air Force is currently developing the High-Resolution Display System HRDS, a 11.6-inch 1920x1080 multifunction color display that replaces the cockpit's central six-pack of analog instruments with a digital primary flight display. This will display high-definition targeting pod footage and a new map engine, representing the most significant cockpit modernization since the A-10A to A-10C conversion. Additional A-10 improvements will include upgrades to the Scorpion helmet-mounted display, an augmented reality system that superimposes targets on the ground over the pilot's field of view. This allows pilots to identify and engage enemy forces on the ground as quickly as possible, minimizing their exposure to enemy fire. These upgrades are crucial because they provide modern navigation instruments to enhance situational awareness when flying in instrument meteorological conditions. They will make targets much more visible through a higher definition display of targeting pod footage, and improved map imagery will allow enhanced target correlation. The initiative could also include Link 16, a network for sharing information with friendly forces, and a synthetic aperture radar pod capable of scanning the ground and identifying tanks and armored vehicles at night, and through adverse weather such as clouds or fog. A long-held ambition to re-engine the A-10s isn't included in current plans. However, new part suppliers with modern techniques may help restore the original engine thrust of the General Electric TF-34 engines, rather than the slight degradation the aircraft currently operates with. What will replace the A-10 in the skies over America's peer adversaries? The F-35, of course. In one respect, this is the correct decision. Despite America's fondness for the A-10, it would likely be shot down in droves by a competent enemy fielding modern air defense guns and missiles. The F-35 is faster and more responsive to fast-moving ground battles, and its stealthy qualities make it less of a target. Its sensors and communications allow it to collect data on ground threats so the pilot can effectively counter them. The problem with the F-35 in the close air support role is that it lacks the armament of the A-10. The A-10 Thunderbolt bristles with weapons, from the GAO-8 Avenger 30mm Gatling gun to Maverick missiles, 70mm rockets, and both guided and unguided bombs. The F-35, on the other hand, is armed with the GAU-22A Equalizer 25mm gun with just 181 rounds and can carry only 2 laser or satellite-guided bombs in its internal payload bays. The F-35 can carry more bombs on wing-mounted pylons, but doing so increases the jet's visibility to enemy radars. Still, the F-35 may not hold the close air support mission for long. The F-35 currently costs $45,000 an hour to fly, and the Air Force may decide that the mission should be assigned to a cheaper, unmanned aircraft capable of flying missions over contested airspace. A better solution down the road might be large numbers of cheap but heavily armed drones, with the pilot of a manned aircraft planning drone strikes from a safe distance. The ideal aircraft for this mission: the A-10. The Air Force's decision is a mixed victory for fans of the A-10. The semi-mythical ideal of the A-10 as an invincible titanium-armored Valkyrie flying over legions of enemy tanks, flattening them like pancakes while dodging volleys of enemy missiles, is over for good. Still, the 1970s era Warthog is flying far longer than anyone ever expected and may even get the last laugh over the F-35. What are your thoughts on this new A-10 Warthog upgrade? Share your opinion in the comments below. You can also tell us why you like or dislike this aircraft. We'd love to hear your story. If you enjoyed this content, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications to stay updated. Thank you for watching.